Hello and welcome to another episode of Inside the Huddle. Today is Saturday, October 19th, although by the time many of you are listening to this, it'll be week number 7, Sunday, October 20th. A full slate of games coming up this afternoon or tomorrow, but at the time, again, this afternoon. Jets, Steelers, primetime matchup. You've got Saquon, or some Giants fans, Snakeone, returning to MetLife Stadium to face his former team in the New York Giants. You've got the Packers and the Texans, which is a really, really good showdown. You've got a London game that you could probably make the case shouldn't even be televised between the Patriots and the Jaguars. Two Super Bowl hopefuls standing at 1-5 coming into this one. So that'll be an action-packed game. Lions, Vikings are a really, really good game. And even Monday night, you've got the Ravens and the Bucks, which is good. And even the Chargers, Cardinals could have some potential to have some fireworks in that one as well. So a packed week number 7. One of the final, I think the second to last weekend here in October before November begins. October's flying by. We've made it to another week, episode 34. DiMari, how's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing even better knowing that Dallas doesn't play this
Dallas on
week.
the
So,
bye.
hopefully we don't lose to the bye week, but I get a week off. I can finally enjoy some football. Stress free, looking forward to the good games that's coming on tomorrow, especially that Lions and Vikings game. I mean, NFC Championship preview. I don't know, just like we predicted, but yeah, I'm excited for the games tomorrow. Thank God we don't play tomorrow, but let's get into what we got for today.
Yeah, that's not a good place to be as an NFL fan, is when you're happy your team's on the bye week. I've been there a lot over the last couple years. When I'm happy, that the Jets are on the bye week, sometimes it actually helps. But you're there right now. And we talk about losing to the bye week. The only other team that has a bye week this week is the Chicago Bears. So I guess I have to ask, if they would to play this week, like in their bye week matchup, who wins, Bears, Cowboys?
That's an obvious. It's definitely gonna be the Bears.
We're that low on Dallas.
We're that low on Dallas. I've completely given up. There's just I don't know.
On Jerry Jones's big birthday. And I was
I
wrong.
gave up.
I guaranteed a Cowboys victory against the Steelers, and it worked. And maybe I have to guarantee a Jets victory. Same place against Pittsburgh, different quarterback. Russ will start, but same place, maybe same result, hopefully. Although I hope it's not that stressful. But last week, guaranteeing a Cowboys victory was not the move at all. Not smart. Good thing I didn't pick them on my game picks or my underdog picks. That would not have been good.
I predicted Dallas to lose by 17, but I think what was it, 38? I think that works. That's just about
Yeah,
right.
it's about right. Only 21 more. It's only 3
Yep.
touchdowns more. So, I still think, by the way, they've played so bad, but I still find it hard to believe that they're gonna find you still don't think they're not making the playoffs?
No,
You don't think
we
they
are
find a way to sneak in?
we are beyond cooked. I don't know if you've seen that schedule, but it's over.
It's over.
I'm doing mock drafts already because it's over. It's done.
At least you don't have to mock draft quarterback. You got the
Oh,
quarterback.
actually, I seen one yesterday that had Shador Sanders going to Dallas at pick 16. Yeah.
So after you gave Dak all that money, you're gonna draft Shador at 16.
Yep. So that means I don't know what they're going to do with Trey Lance in that case, but that's 4 quarterbacks on the roster for whatever reason. But yes, in this mock draft, we do not take Ashton Genty. We take Shador Sanders.
Ashton Genty would be a pretty good fit, I will say. Unbelievable year he's having at Boise State. But anyway, some Cowboys stuff there right off the top. Cowboys on a bye week. So I guess for some people, maybe that's a good thing. It's a good thing. There might be some people in the NFL world that hate the Cowboys that don't want to watch them. Or there might be some people that are upset because I'm sure Stephen A. Smith does like to watch them lose, certain people. But anyway, we got a lot to get into today on the podcast. We'll get into our upset picks later on. We'll get into all the latest news around the NFL. And we'll start with 2 big trades happening in the AFC East this week. So we'll go in chronological order here. We'll start with the Jets trading for Devontae Adams. The Jets receive Davante Adams and the Raiders receive a conditional third-round pick. Could be a second-round pick based on performance over the next 11 games that remain for this team the rest of the way. I will just say this. The New York Jets this year have done more on Tuesdays than they've done on actual game days, which is not a good thing, but they fired Saleh Tuesday morning, last Tuesday. And then this past Tuesday morning, they traded for Davante Adams. So pretty much exact week apart. They've done more on Tuesdays. They've actually shown up on Tuesdays than more so than they've actually have on Sundays this year, which is not necessarily a good thing because that's where they stand at 2-4. But in terms of this trade, I'll be honest. And I, for those of you that kind of know where I've stood on this team over the last couple of weeks, I've been pretty down, very down on this team where they're at right now. Even going into the game Sunday night, there's always part of you as the week goes on that you believe the team can win. There's always hope as a fan, but there is also that part where I realize how many problems are with this team. There are a lot of problems that are greater than just adding Davante Adams. Like Davante Adams can't kick field goals. Davante Adams can't block. Davante Adams can't rush the passer. Davante Adams can't put on a headset and coach. There's a lot of things Davante Adams can do as a receiver, but there's also a lot of things that are wrong with this team that Davante Adams can't fix. And I'll be honest, if you would have told me at the beginning of the year that the New York Jets would trade for Davante Adams, I would have signed up for it right away. And I would have probably thought I'd be ecstatic. But when this news came across my phone on Tuesday, I kind of was just like, Like I was kind of just, I didn't really know how to feel because they're coming off of a brutal loss on Monday night, a game they should have won that they didn't. You're now 2 games back in the division. You're going into a must-win game in a tough environment in Pittsburgh on Sunday night. And to me, there's just so many more problems with this team than just Davante Adams. So I'll be honest, and I said this on my reaction video after this deal was made. Does Davante Adams make the New York Jets more talented? 100%. Does he add a all-pro level player to this? Did the Jets get more talented on Tuesday? No doubt about it. 100%. They did. But does it fix all their other problems? I can't say that. And that's kind of where I stand. Like, he's a great player, but there's a lot of other problems that we need to see get fixed before we can just jump on board and say Davante Adams is going to fix everything and the New York Jets are going to go 9-2 in their next 11 games and make the playoffs and win this division and make a run. So I guess what was your reaction to the Davante news now that I kind of got everything off my chest?
I mean, I think I agree with you. We mentioned it. We talked about it when the news first came out, and you just repeated it. He's not a kicker. He does not rush the passer. He does not coach. He doesn't play D line because that run defense has been an issue. He doesn't play tackle because the tackles are getting Rodgers killed. So
Tyron
yeah,
Smith looks like he's 80.
He moves like he's 80. He has knees of like a 120-year-old giraffe, and that's kind of why Dallas got rid of him. But I think you're 100% spot on. Like, without a doubt, the offense is going to be more exciting. I think you're going to see a happier Rodgers, as you can tell when they first met with each other. Rodgers, smiling like a kid on his birthday. But as good as the offense is, as better as the offense has gotten, that's great. But what are you going to do? Score 40 every game, but give up 50? Like, there's still other problems, as you were saying, that has not been fixed. And I don't think Davante Adams is going to fix those problems of anything. It's just like a coat of paint. Let's paint over the hole in the wall, and that's it. We'll worry about, actually fixing it later. That's what they did. But, I mean, I guess we get to see Sunday night how that actually works out. But I don't think Davante Adams should have been a priority for this team. I think it should have been an edge rusher or some help on that D-line to start.
It feels like, kind of like you said, putting paint over a hole in the wall or putting lipstick on a pig. That's kind of what it feels like. And look, I will say this. I think if Rodgers never got hurt last year, Davante would have been a Jet last year. Look, where there's smoke, there's fire. This was going to happen. Heck, even in the offseason, it was going to happen. And Davante, the entire offseason, kept taking the high road, kept being professional. I'm a Raider. I believe in Antonio Pierce, all this stuff. But once he had to play games with Gardner Minshew and had a real experience of bad quarterback play and a team that's just not talented enough, he was going to want out of there, especially at this point in his career. But yeah, I mean, look, that's the weird part too, is Devontae automatically comes in, and he is 100% the best receiver. I know Garrett Wilson has had back-to-back 100-yard games, and you could still say he's the number one, but he kind of slides over now as the number two, which is dangerous because now you have Devontae. You can honestly make the point that you have two number ones on your team, which will make it really tough. But if we're being honest here, the Jets' problem last week was not actually the offense. The offense, I thought, looked the best it's probably looked maybe since New England, but really all year. Just the way they had a sense of urgency. They were playing. There was a lot more pre-snap motion. The run game opened up a little bit. There was a lot more positives last week than in past weeks with the change at play caller. The big issue comes up on the defensive line. It's the defense that they haven't been playing well enough. Heck, if it's even the offensive line with the penalties. Braylon Allen had the touchdown, and Tyron Smith gets called back for the holding. That was brutal. The red zone offense, which I do think Devontae helps, but the red zone offense is also still a problem. For some reason, the Jets, when they get to the red zone, they feel like they have to run the ball. Like, you are allowed to pass in the red zone. I know it's a crazy thing. I mean, like, again, 2024, wow, crazy. You could throw in the red zone. That's allowed. I know 1960s it wasn't, but now it is. Like, in 1960s it was allowed. They just didn't do it. But you get the point. Like, you're allowed to throw in the red zone. They're not gonna fine you for it. They're not gonna force Rodgers to retire if he throws in the red zone. Just letting you know. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what this team anymore. I really don't. I went into this season. I finally really believed. I really thought this year was different, and here we are. It's the same stuff. And you make a good point. Tomorrow night, or by the time probably tonight, but Sunday night, either way, whenever you're watching this, maybe you're watching this Monday and the game already ended and the Jets win, which I would love. And I say this, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this team goes on and wins 9 of their next, I don't know, or 8 or 9 of their next 11 and go on a run, whatever. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know what to expect anymore. I mean, they could go out there tomorrow. Devontae could have 130 yards. What gives us any confidence that Najee Harris isn't going to gash this defense all night long?
Well, that's actually, I was about to say, this actually may be a week of confidence for you guys. Because, I mean, respectfully, I just don't think that Pittsburgh offense is that good. And I don't think their running game is that good. So, but that also is a con of it, because now the offense, just say, plays amazing tomorrow, goes out there, scores 38 points, and the run defense looks great. And it's like, okay, all problems are fixed. Like, we figured out our defense. And then, the following week you go get gashed on the ground again. It's like, okay, well, we didn't do anything really. Like I said, you just painted over the hole in the wall. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where you just have to find out tomorrow, but they aren't going on a run with that defense. I just don't think so.
And that's the thing too, is that's been what's most been frustrating, is it's not even have to be the best run offenses in football that have beat us, rushing offense. I mean, the Jets got beat by Jordan Mason and the Niners, a backup running back, in week 1. Now, I know Jordan Mason, I know it's, obviously he looked better after week 1. It's not just like it was just week 1. But still, you're getting gashed by a backup running back. Last week, Monday night, Ray Davis looked like Thurman Thomas in his prime. Like, it's been the backup running backs. It's so even tomorrow, I know Najee Harris isn't, the Steelers' offense isn't great. Harris is coming off of his best game of the year where he had 100 yards. First time he's done that, through 6 games. But I could probably run for a couple. I could probably bust out a couple big plays against this Jets rushing defense, if we're being honest. Both of us could. I mean,
yeah, it's bad. I mean, I feel like me talking about how bad the Jets run defense is, I'm really just looking in a mirror. We're not gonna talk about us, but
we're in it together.
At least your team wakes up and sees things aren't going right, and they're like, hey, let's actually try to get better.
And I agree with that. The Jets are playing with an all-in mindset. They realized something was wrong with the coaching. They made a change. I was happy. Made 2 changes, actually. The play caller as well. But that does feel like their last-ditch effort. Now you trade for Devontae. You fired the coach. You changed the offensive player call. You trade for Devontae. If you find a way to lose against the Steelers, like, there's no more answers. There's no more excuses. There's nothing else. You're not going to go trade for anybody else. Like, you're just not. You're not going to fire Ulbrich and say, oh, let's promote another guy. No, it's over then. 2-5 is a huge hole, and at that point, there's nothing else you can do. At least if you win this week, you say, oh, Devontae, new energy. Second week under Ulbrich, they're starting to kind of embody some of his policies and some of his stuff that he puts and sets as a coach. But look, I'll say this. The two are amazing. I mean, they are one of the best quarterback wide receiver duos the league has ever seen, especially over the last decade. Devontae's career has 108 games played with Rodgers, 622 receptions for 7,590 yards, 12.2 yards per reception, and 69 touchdowns. I mean, he's lethal with them. So, plus you had Garrett Wilson in the mix. There's hope, but there's a lot of other problems. Hopefully, you get just the Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers show where it kind of masks over their problems and this team's able to go on a run. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And Reddick's still not here. I don't know if he'll ever show up. I think I'll play a game as a Jet before Reddick does.
I think his time in New York is over. It's done.
I don't understand. He's so stupid. I'm just going to say, like, he's dumb. His agency parted ways with him. I've never seen that before. And then he hires Drew Rosenhaus. They say they're going to go to the game Monday night. They say that he wants to be a Jet for years to come. Years to come. You can't even get him to go out there and practice. Now we're talking about being a Jet for years to come. Get him to the building first before we're talking about next year and beyond. But like now, then the report came out that they're allowing him to seek a trade. So what are you doing? Does he want to be here for a while? Does he want to? He's so dumb. The amount of money he's losing.
I'm just confused because you leave Philly for a contract.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about this before, so I'm not going to get too much into it. But there has to be some type of understanding, some type of agreement. Hey, let's get you in the building. Let's do whatever it is we have to do. Yeah. We work on the contract of things. So then you go hold out. You don't get the contract. Now you're like, okay, I want to trade. Now, okay, just say you do get traded, and now Minnesota's calling for you. So what happens if Minnesota doesn't offer you that contract that you're waiting on? Or you gonna hold out in Minnesota then? That is probably gonna be the first team in NFL, the first person in NFL history to hold out from not one, but not two either, but three teams in the same season. That is literally unheard of.
3 holdouts and no sacks. I mean, no, you're right. Like, what gives you any confidence right now that if you trade him, let's say to Detroit, right, take over for Hutchinson, that he's gonna go play there? And that's, I don't know. It goes back to the whole beginning. Again, we don't have to rehash all of it, but the whole handshake agreement they thought they had. And who even knows where Reddick is at this point? I mean, we're talking about a guy that he didn't show up to OTAs. He didn't show up to mandatory minicamp. When's the last time this guy's been? He hasn't been around a locker room. He hasn't played an NFL game since. He hasn't done anything NFL related, football related, let's say, at football speed since last January, essentially. That's been it. Now, like, it's week 7, week 8. This guy's he's gonna be so rusty. You know, it's I'm just so I don't know. It's crazy. Robert Saleh didn't coach him. Oh my God.
There's been a coaching change.
There's been a coaching change before we got Hassan Reddick.
And a trade before Hassan Reddick.
We might get GTA 6 before Hassan Reddick, actually.
Oh, man. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Anyway. TJ Watt, Morgan Moses got to find a way to slow him down. The Jets got to find a way. Just find a way to beat the Steelers. I don't want the season to be over in October. I already know the mock tankathon will be searched. The amount of searches of tankathon in New Jersey and the New York area will skyrocket Monday morning if the Jets lose. And I don't want that. Instead, I want searches being AFC playoff picture after 7 weeks. Find a way to get the job done. I don't care if it's 6-0. I don't care if it's 6-3. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. It always is. It's a tough environment. Find a way. Just find a way. Hey, Devontae Adams scores a touchdown and the Jets win. You better believe I'll probably come on this podcast next week and be all fired up, but we get the Patriots, easy win, and we'll be back like we never left. But You got to win. Now, Devontae gets traded, and then Amari Cooper gets traded. And the big difference here is, well, the Bills won on Monday night. So now they have full control of the division, and then they trade for a star receiver in Amari Cooper. First of all, I will just say this. Amari Cooper, I mean, he's got to be feeling like he just won the lottery. He got out of Cleveland. He got out of that dump, got away from Deshaun Watson. He went from Deshaun Watson. I mean, I could legitimately make the argument that I know we're saying Devontae Adams is jumping from Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew to Aaron Rodgers, but I actually think Deshaun Watson is even maybe worse than Minshew and O'Connell right now. That's how Deshaun Watson is so bad, and now he's going with Josh Allen, who is better than like Rodgers. So the drop off from how bad Watson is to how good Allen is crazy. And this is a huge trade for Buffalo. I mean, this is Buffalo needed help at receiving core. I think they kind of overrated the guys they had in the building post Stephon Diggs. They realized, credit to Brandon Beane, credit to that front office for recognizing that. And now they bring in Amari Cooper. Huge trade for them. And, Buffalo now 4-2 without really any receivers. You throw Amari Cooper here in the mix. I think their chances here to do some even better things the rest of the way have skyrocketed.
Man. Only if Dallas was interested, but I mean,
yeah, that's it. Like, that's another thing. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't go down that path.
It's all right. I mean, the Bills got a lot better, and I know Shakir's been injured, so I feel like that was some reasoning for the Amari Cooper trade. And if I'm correct, I think MVS immediately got shipped out.
Hey, watch out. The Jets might pick him up. He's Rodgers' buddy. MVS on the practice squad. You know what the Jets are going to do? They're going to trade Mike Williams and promote Marquez Valdes-Scantling. That's going to be their next big move. If they lose to Pittsburgh, don't worry, guys. We got MVS. Don't worry. We're all in.
Oh my goodness! That was actually quite funny when I seen that. I feel like a canon event that just. Anyways, I mean, it's the same goes for Buffalo as for the Jets. Even though you said they win that game, and you notice this isn't gonna cut it. Let's go get better. They go get Amari Cooper, and I know he is ecstatic. All right, I don't have to see Deshaun Watson's face in the building ever again. You go Josh Allen. That's gonna be a deadly duo. And I know they don't have any receivers really necessarily dominating secondaries and putting up crazy numbers, but now you throw Amari Cooper in there with Shakir, who is he actually has gained my respect. I think he is very consistent. He's very reliable for Josh Allen. Obviously, you got the two tight ends. James Cook is a great pass catcher out in the backfield. And now Keon Coleman might see a lot more targets because now, Amari Cooper is going to take a lot of attention.
Yeah.
This team is going to be – I thought they were missing the playoffs, but they might have enough to finally get there. I know it's still early to say that. I mean, we are in October, and the Bills thing is let's get as far as we can. That meaning second round, and let's lose and change the rules in the NFL and this, and that. It's all fun and games they run into Mahomes, but – I think this could be the year.
No, I 100% agree. I mean, this is the way I look at it. They are 4-2 with no receivers. 4-2. This isn't like this is a 3-3 team or a 2-4 team like the Jets. They are 4-2 with no receivers. You add Amari Cooper to the mix, there is no reason this team can't win, easily 12 games this year. And let's take a look at their schedule. Their schedule coming up is, I think, very favorable. Now, I know Tua is coming off should be coming off the IR here again with Miami, but I believe by the time they play, he will. But when you look at their schedule, they got Tennessee, Mason Rudolph. They're going to win that game by 40. It's going to be bad. Seattle, who has been really struggling, very back down to earth, started 3-0, have lost 3 straight. Lost to the Giants at home. That's brutal. That's all you need to know about where they are right now. And then you have Miami, who's beatable, even with Tua. The Bills have owned the Dolphins. They should win that game. And then they get the Colts, who are tough, but who's starting that game? I think you got to trust actually Flacco more than Richardson at this point. But who's starting that game? That's a question. Then you get the Chiefs, who are tough. You do get the Niners. Rams this year, not the same team. You should be able to take care of business against them. Detroit will be tough. Then you get New England, two of the final three, and then you have the Jets mixed in there as well. Who knows where the Jets are at that point, second to last week of the season. They have had success against the Jets at home. But like, just going through the schedule. Should beat Tennessee, should beat Seattle, should beat Miami. That Colts, Chiefs, Niners stretch, they get the Colts on the road. They get the Niners and the Chiefs at home. They should be able to split at home. I say you split those games at home, beat the Colts. You should go 2-1 in that stretch. So you're looking at there 5 wins, you're 9. Okay, you lose to the Lions, but you beat the Rams, Patriots twice. That's 12. Maybe you lose to the Jets. Who knows? 13. I don't know. Right. So maybe they get upset. Maybe they sit their starters end of the year and they lose a game to the New England last week. But they got a lot better. They do. And I think both of us, I still had them making the playoffs, but I think both of us thought they would kind of take a step back this year. And somehow they're still, I'll be honest. I think the whole claims, especially being made by me a lot, that Josh Allen's like overrated or whatever is just kind of out the window.
I take that. Yeah, I took that back. I crumbled it, threw it out the window.
Yeah. Everyone has those takes. And I was on the board as well. I said it as well. I thought Allen was not necessarily the quarterback that everybody thought he was. The turnovers are a big problem. But the fact that this guy is yet to throw an interception this year and has his team at 4-2, like the reason the Bills are good, it's Allen. It's Josh Allen. They're not even incredibly well coached. I'm not going to sit here and think Sean McDermott's that great of a coach. He makes a lot of head-scratching decisions. Now, I will say this. If you offered me Sean McDermott right now for the Jets or offered me, Sean McDermott's gone to this team the playoffs every year. Like, I don't really know how much better the Bills can do at coach than Sean McDermott, just the way he's been able to get to that team to the postseason. There is questionable decisions, but this team's just riding on Allen. It's Allen's shoulders. That's where they're at. I mean, the defense is good, but it's Allen. That's what it is. And now they get Cooper. Feels like I don't want to say the rich get richer because they really weren't rich at the wide receiver position, but it does kind of feel like that.
The rich got richer. I mean, yeah. you
they
give
were 4-2
Josh Allen,
and they got better. Yeah.
You give Josh Allen Amari Cooper, who I know as bad as he looked in Cleveland, you cannot unconvince me he played his way out of Cleveland.
Yeah,
he perfectly played his way out.
Let's be honest. I'd have a tough time getting up to go to work in the morning if Deshaun Watson was my quarterback too. Let's just let's all be honest here. There is not a single soul in the NFL right now that would want to be in Cleveland. Cleveland too. Like, who wants to live in Cleveland first of all? Plus play for Deshaun Watson. Or play with Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't.
That's bad. I mean,
not that Buffalo's not that Buffalo's got palm trees and an ocean, but you get the point.
At least you're going to win. But in Cleveland, you're in Cleveland, it's not much.
No.
Like, LeBron's not even there, so it's nothing fun going around.
Guardians are going to lose to the Yankees.
Terrible brown uniforms every Sunday. I just couldn't. I couldn't.
No, neither could I. Watson as your quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't be me.
Where are the Browns going to go? I mean, where are they going to go after this? Do you draft a guy? Do you just start tanking? You wonder part of that's too. You just roll Watson out there, go win 4 games and draft a quarterback and let Stefanski work with him?
That same mock draft I seen has them taking Jalen Milroe, which the last 3 weeks has not looked
I'll be honest.
Better.
I'll be honest. I jumped the gun on Jalen Milroe. I said after that Georgia game, he was one of my favorite quarterbacks in the draft. That Georgia game, for me, the stock rose. It skyrocketed. But you lose to Vandy and you lose to Tennessee, it is now tanked. Nick Saban needs to come out of retirement.
I don't even know. Actually, that probably would help. But you lose to Vandy, And yes, he doesn't play defense. Like I get it. They give up 44 points. Jalen Milroe does not play the defensive side. The offense hasn't looked good. You look terrible against Tennessee today. Decision making was terrible. And was it South Carolina last week? Like South Carolina down to the wire. You look terrible. His draft stock has completely dropped. And I mean, I hate to say it, but right now, if your team looking QB first, it's probably got to be Shador Sanders.
Yeah, that's what's funny, man. This whole quarterback class, I don't love it. I don't.
It's kind of mid.
Milroe is starting to fall off. Like Shador, very talented. I just think he's going to be a bust. I just do. Like I think his father, I just don't think it's going to work out. I think there's going to be too much outside noise. And he's good, but he's not. I mean, we've seen prospects better than him. Like he's not. Like Colorado's not a world beater of a team, and
I can say though the terrible O line play and lack of run game for him to still be 300 plus 3-4 touchdowns a game.
That's the truth, but that is good, and most likely the team he goes to probably not going to have the best O line play, probably not going to have the best around him because he's going to probably go to one of the worst teams in football, whether that's the Panthers. Oh my God. If the Panthers draft him, the NFL has to step in with the Panthers drafting a quarterback. You just can't do it to him. But I don't like Carson Beck at all. I think Carson Beck's to be terrible. Carson Beck to me is probably the worst prospect in this draft from a quarterback perspective in terms of, now that was a lot I just said there, but like in terms of out of like the top quarterbacks, like the first round quarterbacks that could go in the first round, Beck's probably the worst in my eyes. I don't think Shador's going to be very well, and Milroe's tanking. Cam Ward, I like.
I like Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward.
All right, ready? Let me do it.
I like Cam Ward. Cam Ward he's pretty nice.
Very nice. Yeah, very good.
He's pretty nice.
I like Quinn Ewers a lot.
Ewers, I mean, I got this Georgia game kind of propped up right underneath us here. Draft stock is dropping tonight. He's like
it is tanking.
He's like 5 for 18.
I got the Yankee game on, so
it's not looking good.
Yes. Oh yeah, 17-0.
Jackson Dart, maybe. I don't know. I'm not really big on Jackson Dart. I'm not really bought into Jackson Dart. I don't see what people see. It kind of reminds me of, Herbert was good at Oregon. It kind of reminds me in a way with like Justin Herbert. You're like, all right, kind of tall, athletic guy, big arm.
Yeah.
But how good is he going to be when he gets to the NFL level? I'm not a believer in Dart.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here. I don't love Drew Aller as well. I mean,
who?
Drew Aller.
Oh, the guy just hands the ball off to Nick Singleton and the two backs Penn State has? No.
I mean, you're probably looking at I'd say it's Cam Ward.
It has to be Cam Ward.
Or, and I've said this to Giants fans, go from one DJ to another DJ.
Okay. DJ probably should enlist in the Army. He's not. That's not happening.
He's got to give up playing college football. You just got to stop at some point.
Right now, if you are a GM and your options is DJ or Cam Rising, who are you taking?
Probably Cam Rising.
I mean, at least with DJ, he's going to play. I know he's out for the season. At least he's going to play. Cam Rising going to find some crazy injury to miss 14 games. Like you're probably never going to get a snap out of Cam Rising.
What about What about what's his face? Zach Wilson's brother. Is it Isaac? Isaac Wilson. Speaking of Utah. Isaac Wilson or DJ Uiagalelei?
I am not too sure. I think I've watched a game of Utah. I think he started that game. I don't remember how that game went.
He hasn't been good. He's got 6 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, just like his brother.
Okay, so
like brother.
Not. Yeah. Let's just go. Yeah, you just go DJU at that point.
At that point, if you're in that situation, you just don't draft a quarterback and you overpay for a veteran. That's what you do.
That sounds about right. You go give Joe Flacco whatever he wants. Probably
Flacco, or you go and give Darnold way too much money.
That works too. Or Matt
Yeah,
Ryan. He's just
or Matt
doing
Ryan. Oh
nothing.
yeah,
Go
take
get
Matt
Matt
Ryan out of
Ryan.
the booth. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Or if the whole Rogers thing blows up in New York and he wants to go elsewhere, go and enter Rogers prison at your
That
own
works.
risk.
That
Works
always
too.
works.
Or you can go sign Daniel Jones. He'll be out there.
Hate to say
Drew
it, but they
Lock,
guys probably Drew Lock. I hate to say it,
Bryce
Daniel Jones
Young.
is I don't know about that. You might as well get DJU at that point.
Yeah, probably. DJU. Is that going to turn into the new tight end U? DJU. He's going to have a whole like a for college quarterbacks that's not aren't good enough to make it to the
He's
NFL.
he's gonna be the comparison, sadly.
Yeah. So anyway, I will say this too. I just want to go back. I don't know. Do you want to? Well, we're going to Russell Wilson next, but just on the topic of all these teams going all in, and I don't want to bring up the Cowboys, but like when you see all these teams, it just even from the outside doesn't make sense. When you see all these teams making these moves, making these changes, and the Cowboys continue to do absolutely nothing. I mean, it's got to be infuriating, and it just doesn't make sense. That you go back to the offseason, they didn't even do anything.
I mean, what did you say? It's actually so funny that you said this because I actually in the article I'm writing right now, I have the first sentence starts off with the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yeah.
So the fact that I have that in my article already, you said it to start the show. That's all it is. It's insanity. I mean, I like our guys has not worked for 29 years. What made you think it's going to work this year? I don't know. Jerry Jones is very prideful, and I mean, they're never going to win a Super Bowl. They're never going to make it past the second round with Jerry Jones. Um, I I don't have much to say on it. Like I've used all my rant through 6 weeks already, surprisingly, but the guy's an idiot. It's that simple. He doesn't want the team to get better. That's it.
And that's the thing. Like that. Look, I don't want to be like morbid, but Jerry Jones, he wants to win one before his time's up. One more, and you could tell. Like he wants to, or that's why there's been a lot of coaching change. Like, and that's happened throughout his career, but specifically recently because he wants to win. He wants to win now. He realized running out of time. His 82nd birthday was last week, and it didn't go well at all. 82 so far. 82 is off to about as bad as a start as you could think of. But like you would think he would at this point in his life, realizing that time's running out for him to win. You'd think he would not be stupid, but take smart, calculated, not really risk, but smart, calculated, all in moves to try and like the team has shown you they're not going like they're not good enough. They're just not talented enough. I mean, outside of CeeDee Lamb, you've got nobody. I still don't know how they haven't addressed the running back room at all. It feels like to them, like their two big moves this offseason was extending Lamb and extending Dak. Those are their two big things, and that's it. And that's not even adding somebody from the out, other than the long snapper.
And Eric Hendricks, who isn't even playing.
Yeah.
You know, here's the thing. Without giving too much in the article away, they want Dak to be Superman, and Des Bryant even mentioned it. I think it might have been this offseason. Basically, like the front office won't do anything, and Dak is going to be the scapegoat. Dak's going to get all the blame. And knowing how Dak is, he's going to take the high road. Any bad performance is like, hey, I got to be better. He can go out there and score 60. Like, hey, I got to score 61. That's on me. Even Troy Aikman just recently came out. I don't know if you've seen it, and basically was like, the receivers suck. They can't run routes. Their effort is terrible. They're like, your Hall of Fame quarterback and just Hall of Fame quarterback in general that has won Super Bowls in this organization is coming out and bashing this organization, talking about how bad the route runners are. And Jerry Jones is kind of just like, well, I know what I'm doing. Clearly you don't. Clearly you don't. There's no way. So, it is what it is. I am going to just root for my AFC team for the rest of the year, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. So life isn't too bad.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Ravens, I guess we could stay in the division, AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers this week, well, they said they were keeping it in house. And if there was any thought that George Pickens' IQ probably wasn't very high, um, it was proven. George Pickens yesterday, they asked him about doing extra reps with or working with Russ on extra reps after practice. And he goes, well, Russ is the starter, so we have to get extra reps. When Mike Tomlin all week long has been telling it's keeping in house. But George Pickens, big brain, low IQ. What are we thinking here? I mean, not the brightest of the bunch.
No, not too bright at all. I don't know what he missed when keep it in house,
Yeah,
but
I don't know which
you
part of keeping in house he missed.
you were better off buying a billboard in downtown Pittsburgh and saying start
Yeah,
Rust and Fantasy this week. I don't know, but I guess we'll see some Russ. I don't think it's a good move personally. I mean, you look at some of their losses. I'm gonna use Dallas for instance. Like, all right, they probably should have won that game, but Justin Fields didn't necessarily play too bad. They could have put up more points, but even looking at him last week, he
yeah,
adds a different aspect to that team, and now they decided to go with Russ, but that's on them, I guess. I don't really have much to say about it. Like I'm honestly still lost for words thinking about it because you've had success with Russ and I'm with Justin Fields, and now you're just like, oh well, thanks for your you're contributing for our season.
yeah,
Sit on the bench, grab that iPad, and get Russ some water, kid. Like it
yeah,
doesn't make sense to me, but I guess.
yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's interesting with the whole Fields thing. They're winning. They're finding ways to win. He hasn't been very, very impressive. Only about 150 yards per game passing, but he has 10 total touchdowns, 5 through the air, 5 on the ground. And yeah, they're winning games. They're doing just enough. Najee Harris had a good week last week. They are banged up on the offensive line. And that's part of it too, is like he provides some mobility. He can extend plays. Russ really can't do that. Look, Russ is cooked. There's really no other way to put it. He's cooked. He is. I mean, he's shot. He's done. This was a guy that last year that got benched, wasn't very good at all. The year prior wasn't very good at all. Russell Wilson, there's two types of athletes. There's athletes that have a slow decline, and then there's athletes that just stop like right away. And that's kind of Russ. Was very good in Seattle, finished his time in Seattle, was solid. Didn't have the best year of his career in 2021, went from throwing 40 touchdowns in 2020 to 25 in 2021. So threw 15 less touchdowns. And was the first time he had under 30 touchdowns since 2016. So you did see a little bit of a drop off, but like to go from where he was in Seattle to then go get traded to Denver and just completely fall off the face of the earth. He only had 3,070 passing yards last year, which was the lowest amount he's ever had in his career. He threw for 16 touchdowns in 2022, and he only threw 26 touchdowns last year, which is, not terrible, but the yards wasn't there. You just watch him play. He's not the same guy. He's cooked.
Um, I'm sorry to laugh. It was just every time we talk, like, is for some reason I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. We bring up wash players and we just start throwing out all the examples of just wash players and just like Brooklyn Kevin Garnett just came to my mind to think about the levels
Oh
of
yeah.
washed Russ is, and I'm just Pittsburgh Steelers Russell Wilson is a crazy level of washed.
Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett, Brooklyn Nets run is basically Russell
Paul
Wilson's
Pierce.
Pittsburgh run. Also, that's another one, just completely just washed. It's
There's a
bad.
couple of them. Who else? What are some other washed athletes? Oh, MJ on the Wizards. That's a little different though. MJ on the Wizards is.
Oh, that was up there though. As far as like that's up there.
Yeah.
A recent one, Dallas Mavericks, Klay Thompson. That's up there.
Yeah, that's up there too. Mavs,
That guy's
Klay
washed.
Thompson's up there. But no, yeah, and look, maybe Russ from a veteran standpoint, maybe he gets the pass game going a little bit more. Like He airs it out a little bit more than Fields did, but they were finding ways to win with Fields. It wasn't pretty, but Russell Wilson at 35 years old, going to be 36 in November. Let's not sit here and say it's going to be pretty. I mean,
But it's just I don't get it because with Fields is like, all right, we're not passing the ball that great, but we are running the ball great because I add an extra aspect of running. Like I'm very mobile. I'm actually leading the team in rushing. So now Russ comes in. It's like, okay, great, you can throw the ball and the pass game's effective, but when you're not able to run the ball, what are you going to do? Because you can't bring Fields in because then it's like it's an obvious where all right, well a lot of we might see is QB run some different things, get him out the pocket, extensive plays with his legs. It really doesn't make sense. I think you were better off with riding out with Fields. And I mean, if he gets injured or he has a game where he looks terrible and then you want to cut the rope and go with Russ, that's cool. But
yeah,
not in this situation right now.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I'm right there with you in terms of kind of the assessment of where this team where they're at. But and it'll be interesting to see how long they roll with Russ. I mean, there has been some reports that they'll play both. What if Russ goes out there and plays like trash tomorrow night or on Sunday night, and then do you go back to Fields right away? How does that all work out? Like, how long is the leash here for Russ if this thing doesn't work out? We'll see, but can't be very long. I don't think it's long. If they lose the next 2 games, let's say, but I will say they got to get their quarterback situation figured out because they've got some tough matchups late in the season. They got Cincy twice still. They've still got to play the Chiefs. They still got to play the Ravens. They still got to play the Ravens twice. They still got to play the Eagles on the road. They've got some very difficult matchups. So if they got to get this quarterback situation, whoever the quarterback is, you can't be making a quarterback change in week 14. Like if they feel Russ is the guy, they got to roll with him. If he's not, you got to go back to Fields quickly. They don't got much time.
But even if you like you're saying, so worst case, just say 2 to 3 games, because once I think Fields right now, like it's about momentum. So I think Fields has some momentum rolling and he's been playing pretty decent. So you bench him and now 3 weeks, Russ plays these next 2 games, and then the 3rd week from now, let's say middle of second quarter, they pull Russ because he's playing bad. Fields has lost all that momentum that he was riding off of. I don't know. I'm so glad I'm not a Pittsburgh fan because I would be pretty unhappy with the decision. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's questionable for sure. This could also be like, I don't know, is this the Steelers too? Like beginning of the year, Russ was going to be the starter, then got hurt. Is this them now just throwing him out there just to throw him out there just to say that they threw him out there? Like,
I honestly think so because them coming out saying, all right, yeah, Russ is our guy, whatever. I guess Mike Tomlin kind of wants to stick to what he said, and they probably had some conversations with Russ about he's the guy when he's back. So I think that's the situation.
yeah. Now, if they were 2-4 right now, you totally understand it, but you're 4-2, so we'll see. We'll see if Russ cooks, Mr. Unlimited, the cringiest player in the NFL, back on the field. He's just, you can't take the guy seriously. You can't.
No, not at all.
Guys, I think I found my new alter ego. I'm Mr. Unlimited.
That guy he's unbelievable.
Danger Witch.
Like he's dangerous.
Dangerous.
Broncos country, let's ride. He's just not. He's not a serious guy.
He's not real. He's a bot. Let's be honest. He plays NPC. Quarterback like a bot too.
He's an NPC.
Yeah. First ever NPC. And I'd say, what are some other fake, like, what are some other bot quarterbacks?
Any pregame prep talk, Jameis Wilson. Jameis Winston, I'm sorry, not a real guy. Not a real guy.
Yeah.
Eating W's is crazy.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you heard I don't know if you guys have CC's Pizza up there. Anyways, it's a pizza spot, all you can eat. It's like $5, all you can eat pizza, whatever. One of his pregame speeches was, I want you guys to remember the first time that you had CC's Pizza. That's the type of energy that we need today on the field. Like, what are you talking about?
You know who's another one? Tim Boyle's not a real person.
No, not at all.
Tim Boyle's not a real person. Neither is Trevor Simeon.
They're industry plants.
Yes. I'm also convinced Roger Saffold's not a real person. Offensive lineman. Jets picked him up last year on the practice squad. We never saw him. And then they released him.
All right, they can use them right now. What was
Yeah.
the point of releasing them? I don't know.
Speaking of releasing, some coaches on the hot seat. So we kind of went through the list here earlier in the show. And we can kind of go through the list again. But some coaches that we believe are on the hot seat. Doug Peterson's hot. Well, that sounded weird. But Doug Peterson's seat is hot. That came across very, very odd. Doug Peterson's seat's hot. Mike McCarthy, Dennis Allen. We even threw Antonio Pierce in there. Nick Sirianni as well. I think we all agree that going into the season, you can make the case all of these guys are actually on the hot seat, so it's not much of a surprise. I mean, I don't know if we thought Doug Peterson's would be this hot after we knew that the Jaguars weren't going to be very good, but I don't know if we expected them to be this bad. Sirianni, we kind of knew if they don't win this year, if they don't go deep this year, he's going to be out of there. But thoughts on those coaches? Any others? Maybe at Eberflus in Chicago. I don't think it's too hot. Maybe McDermott. You want to throw McDermott in Buffalo? I don't think so. But let's say they lose in the wild card game. Do they go different? Do they go to a different direction?
I think they're safe. I mean, I think Eberflus. How first two games it was kind of like, all right, it's not looking too good for you. They figured it out. Their offense is actually rolling. Like, I don't know if you got a chance to watch them last Sunday before the Roosters woke up, but they impressed me. They were actually good. Like, they looked good. Caleb Williams not making bad decisions. Run game finally going with Swift. I think he's safe. McDermott, I feel like he's safe because, I mean, from your own words, what much better coaching are you going to find for Buffalo than McDermott? So I think he's kind of secure. If I had to pick a guy, though, on this list, it's Doug Peterson. If they lose tomorrow to
they're going to leave him in London.
They're
gonna say, you know what, Doug, you're on vacation. We'll leave you at the oh my God, I forget what it's called, Buckingham Palace, and you can enjoy your time there.
If they lose tomorrow, he might as well fill out like a real estate agent application and just never leave because there's no way he's flying back to Jacksonville.
No. They might not let that plane land in Jacksonville if Doug Peterson's on it.
I don't want to sound harsh, but it was a movie too. I can't remember what movie, but they literally might fly him over just wherever and just throw him out with a parachute. Tell him good luck. There's a good chance.
They're going to open up the emergency row.
There's a really good chance.
Yeah. Without a parachute or with a parachute?
With a parachute. They won't be that cruel. Even though, I mean, from him coaching on the sidelines has been cruel for fans in the organization, but they won't do him that way.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I agree. I think Doug Peterson out of this entire list has the warmest seat. Mike McCarthy's pretty warm as well. I mean, what do you think he has to do to come back? Win a playoff game? I mean, if he missed the playoffs, he's out. But what does he have to do in order to come back?
NFC Championship. I think if they don't at least reach the NFC Championship, he's done, which is not going to happen because, we talked about it off air with just the lack of things they decided to do. So I honestly think McCarthy's also done after this year, along with Peterson.
I'd say so too. I say Dennis Allen's got. There's a case you can make that Dennis Allen won't even last the season. He's so bad. Pierce will last the year. They'll ride it out, I think, and then just blow it up and restart in the offseason. And I think Sirianni will last the year. I think Sirianni, it's going to be ultimately come down to how far they go. If they get bounced in the wild card round again, or if they start to collapse late in the season, I think he's going to be gone. I don't think they'll fire him mid-year. They're not going to do that. I mean, they're right in the heart of it right now. Heck, they might win the division with the way things are shaping out there. They're 3-2. If Washington comes back down to earth, they could be right there for the taking. So, but it ultimately comes down to the playoffs. If they get bounced in the wild card again, forget
He's
about it.
gone.
He's done. Pierce is probably done either way. And I feel bad for Antonio Pierce. Maybe I shouldn't say feel bad, but he kind of got the raw end of the stick there. I mean, they're giving him nothing. They're going to probably, they might trade Crosby. So you trade Crosby and Devontae, and then you hand him Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I mean, what is he supposed to do?
There's not much to do with that. They also don't have a good running back.
No,
And
they've got
then,
nobody.
Devontae
All they got is a
Adams,
nice stadium.
I've heard is actually pretty nice. I've seen videos from someone I work with. It's actually a pretty nice place. You would not expect the mid that goes on inside that stadium, but I mean, yeah, Pierce got the short end of the stick. Devontae Adams was kind of like, I'm going to give it a chance. We're going to see how it goes, whatever. And then 6 weeks in, Devontae Adams is like, well, it's time to learn Trey Tucker, buddy, because I'm out of here. So for Pierce, I mean, it's unfortunate, but then again, it's a business. So if he's not the guy, and they're going to move on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, let's say they win 4 or 5 games this year, he's out. Like,
Yeah.
not many coaches would survive a season like that. Plus, they missed the playoffs again last year with him as the interim. I'll tell you what, man, they got to get Vegas on track. The NFL, like, they need to get Vegas. And I know Brady now the minority owner, or he's partial, not minority owner. He's part owner. What do they call him? Isn't he?
I think it actually is called minority owner.
He's a minority owner?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. He's a very small, what is it, 5%? 3%,
Yeah,
5%?
something like that. It's not. I don't remember the exact number, but I know he doesn't really have
No.
a huge share of the team quite yet.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I do think he's going to be involved. I'll tell you what, he's running business right now. So he got the biggest contract at Fox, and now you see his restrictions. He can't do anything. He can't even go, like, for interviews since he's with the Raiders. He's not allowed to go into any other team's facility. So he has to do, he has to do all his Fox interviews for the games, like, on Zoom.
Okay. So he can still call the games, obviously, from whatever stadium.
Yeah, he can call the games, but he can't be, like, around any of the players, can't interview the players. So he's essentially just like, but, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, he got that big contract, and now he's barely even working. He's just going to show up on game day.
It's one of the worst things I've ever heard, but I guess.
Yeah. I have to find it. It's there was a whole list of things that, like, his restrictions because he's now a part of an NFL team or now a part of the Raiders. But they got to get that figured out. The NFL's got to get that figured out. They have to. Like, well, not the NFL, but, like, the NFL needs the Raiders to get it figured out because if Vegas has a team that's popping, that's huge. But they haven't. And the Raiders too. I mean, they're one of those teams with a rich history. You look at them recently, nothing to show for it. A couple years with Carr, and that's it.
I don't even think I was alive when the Raiders were good. I mean, I remember that 1 year with Carr, and I honestly believe he didn't break his leg. They go to the Super Bowl.
There's a good chance they did. We're going.
Other than that, the Raiders have not been good in my lifetime, so I'm kind of confused. Like, of this rich history, like, I feel like I'm reading black and white history books. And
well, I mean,
about the Raiders, they just aren't good. They've never been good in my life, so I just can't believe they were ever good.
It goes back to the whole Madden days and in the late 70s and the 80s with Al Davis. Those were the just win, baby. I think he had that quote. Did he have that quote? I believe it was just win, baby. Might have been something. I don't know. But that's when they were relevant. They haven't been relevant since. And that was when they were in Los Angeles anyway. Well, they were in Oakland, then switched to Los Angeles. They went in that they were in a long drought there for a while. Up until that, they had a drought from because they lost that Super Bowl to the Bucks, and then after that they went on that long drought until uh up until 2016 when they made the wild card. Now is the year they mixed it. Now that year they had, or that was the year Carr got hurt, but that year they also had um Khalil Mack there for a little while, so they had some pieces. They had the team to do it.
I
Khalil
think
Mack on the Raiders was, oh my god.
I think that was the Amari Cooper was there. I think
Yeah,
Crabtree might have still been there. Like
Crabtree.
they
Yep,
had a pretty
they had a
good
loaded
team.
roster.
And yeah, Carr broke his leg, and ever since then, just mid.
Yeah, let's see. So go back to the 20. Let's go to 2016 regular season. Yeah, Amari Cooper led the team receptions. They had Crabtree. Who did they have on defense outside of Khalil Mack? Like who were there? They had Bruce Irvin.
Mm.
Who were there? Jahad Ward played for them. I didn't even know that. I can't even think like if they had any like good corners. Oh, they had Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson was still in the NFL in 2016.
2015 was his last year,
That is kind of crazy.
but they had Woodson. He was kind of washed though.
That's actually kind of
I mean, they had
crazy.
prime Woodson earlier in his career, yeah, and then he was washed.
Wow. Whoa. What? What? Sports are so weird sometimes. Just in what world did Charles Woodson and Amari Cooper play on the same team? That's just not real.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. Yeah, that is not
Like
real. And
Charles
Latavius
Woodson.
Murray. I mean, for him to
Like
be mixed too.
if I'm correct, if I got the year right, Charles Woodson that won the Heisman in like 1998, I swear that was the year, played with Amari Cooper in 2015. Like when Woodson won that Heisman, Amari Cooper was probably like, is Amari Cooper what, like 29 right now?
Amari
30?
Cooper right now. Um, let's see. By the way, Darren McFadden played with him as well. He's 30. Is that a blast from the past, Darren McFadden?
Aaron McFadden, Cowboys legend.
You
Oh my
remember that
goodness.
2015 season?
What a guy.
Was that his 1,000-yard year? Didn't he have that one big year?
I think that was the one he kind of fell off the face of the earth a little bit afterwards.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, Terrell Pryor. You know Terrell Pryor?
Old Ohio State quarterback
He
that switched
led,
to
yeah, and he
receiver.
switched to receiver.
Yep.
He led the Raiders in 2012 in passing. Oh my God. Look at their quarterbacks. Oh my God. Terrell Pryor threw for 1,798 yards and led the team in passing yards. And then Matt McGloin was behind him, and then Matt Flynn, the legendary Matt Flynn.
Wait,
That guy.
Green Bay Packers legend Matt Flynn
Yep.
was on the Raiders? What?
Yep. Green Bay Packer legend Matt Flynn.
Interesting.
You know what's crazy? Some of these guys, they go like it's crazy all these receivers that like play quarterback and then play receiver.
Houston Texans, Braxton Miller.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's the one I instantly think about. Terrell Pryor, Braxton Miller. I mean, Felipe Franks is a tight end for the Panthers. Like, what is going on?
Well, Chaz Surratt, he used to play quarterback at UNC. He's now a linebacker for the Jets.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Never forget Terrell Pryor, by the way, though. During his time with the Jets.
He did play for the Jets.
It was a special run. Never forget his touchdown against the Colts in Darnold's rookie year. Special.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
NFL is such an odd place.
Yeah, very odd. Anyway, underdog picks.
Underdog picks. I might be on that hot seat of with Peterson and Mike McCarthy. I was 9-3 after week 4. I've now fallen to 11-7.
Yep. 11-7. I have now jumped up to 8-10. So we're making some moves here. 4-2 in the last 2 weeks combined. We had 4 wins in our first 4 weeks. We have now gone 4 wins in our last 2 weeks. So comeback season is alive and well. I guess I'll go first since I won last week. I've won the last 2 weeks, so we're moving here. We're making moves. All we need is a 3-0 week, and if you go 0-3, we're right back in the mix. So here we go. Here are my picks. I'm gonna go. They're getting a lot of points. I'm gonna go Patriots plus 5.5. I am. That might sound crazy. I'm going to go Drake May and the Patriots plus 5.5. The Jaguars suck. There's just no other way to put it. I think this is going to be a closer game. Probably low scoring, probably pretty bad, probably pretty boring. 24-20, or no, not 24-20, like 17-14, 16-13, 14-10. Patriots probably don't win, but I think they cover the 5.5. So New England plus 5.5. I'll take the Chiefs plus 2 over San Fran on the road. Haven't played very well, Kansas City, but they have found a way to be 5-0 because it's the Chiefs, and why not? They could play like garbage and win 13 games. That's just the way they are. They'll find a way to win the Super Bowl this year. Let's be honest. Who are we kidding? They'll find a way to limp and win the Super Bowl with no talent and Mahomes playing like average. Coming off a bye week, from a Niners perspective, it felt like, they've obviously been off to a bumpy start. Looks like they'll get Ricky Pearsall in his debut here. They're kind of keeping their head above water with all these injuries that they have suffered this season. They're finding ways to kind of stay along this path of 500 football before they get fully healthy again. But I'll take Kansas City here. I think Kansas City. I think this could be kind of a big day for Mahomes. I think it could be a big day for the Chiefs. Maybe you see Kelsey have a big day. We'll see. So I'll go Chiefs plus 2. And I'll be honest, this last one's tough. I don't know which way I want to go here. But I'm going to go Lions plus 1.5. So I'm going to essentially just take the Lions to win here. I know they're missing Hutchinson, but when I look at the Vikings, I like the Vikings a lot. I've liked, their story's been crazy, really cool. I've liked what I've seen from Sam Darnold a lot. But the last time we saw Darnold, he was back down to earth against the Jets. Coming off a bye week, Lions to me are the better team. Like Darnold to me, at some point is going to have a back down to earth game where Minnesota is going to lose. It feels like it was that London game, although they didn't lose because it's the Jets. But the Lions aren't the Jets. Lions are going to find a way to win this game without Hutchinson. And then they're going to play hard for them. So Patriots plus 5.5. Chiefs plus 2. And I will take the Lions plus 1.5. Those are my picks. 3-0 week. We'll see. Maybe. Patriots are plus 5.5, right? Not 6. Or are they 6?
I think they are 5.5.
Yes, they are 5.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to back you on Lions plus 1.5. So if you're going 3-0, that at least means I'm 1-2.
True. Yes.
I agree with that. I mean, I just think honestly, I'm not even gonna go more into it. Everything you said was spot on. I think Sam Darnold needs to be kind of humbled and back to earth, and the Lions are absolutely on a heater. So I like Lions plus 1.5, unless history repeats, and after you beat the Dallas Cowboys, you don't win again for another 4 weeks. But I like the Lions in this one. I'm gonna go Cardinals plus 1.5. I mean, I think I took the Cardinals. I did take the Cardinals last week. Plus 5.5 against Green Bay, and they absolutely got punched in the face last week. But I think they bounced back. I mean, I'm not a firm believer in the Chargers. So Cardinals at home Monday night. I know 9:00 kickoff. Give me the Cardinals plus 1.5. And this last one, I'm gonna go Bucks plus 3.5. I know the Raiders. I know the Ravens have been hot. Derrick Henry's been hot, and this Bucks defense has not looked how they have looked as usual, but I don't know, something about Baker playing better teams. He plays better. Mike Evans is indeed playing this week with the hamstring off the injury report. Give me the Bucks plus 3.5. And I actually have an honorable mention for this week as well, a fourth one. I'm going to go Cowboys plus 13.5 against the bye week.
So we think do they win?
No, we just cover.
They just keep it close.
Keep it close.
All right. Honorable mention. I like it. I like it. Plus 13.5. I'll take the bye week to cover.
I actually like the bye week to cover. I feel like this is a week they could cover. You don't got to throw nobody out there too much. Nothing too crazy. Just get in and get out of the bye week before you get blown out by San Fran next week. So,
yep, I agree. So, anyway, any closing thoughts?
I feel bad for London tomorrow, but
yes,
full slate of football tomorrow, starting us early, and I'm just ready for some good football games. That's it.
Yes, I agree. Full slate, always a lot of fun, and we will talk to you next week. Next week will be an interesting show. If the Jets are 2-5 and the Cowboys lose the bye week, both of our teams will be just full on tank mode. And
paper bag week.
Yeah, it'll be if the Jets lose this week, I will be bringing out the paper bag.
I'm actually looking to buy one and customize it. So I feel like I'm gonna need that this year.
Yes. Anyway, we will talk to you next week. And let's go Jets. Find a way, just get the win. And let's go Cowboys. Right? Tough matchup.
Let's go Ravens.
Yeah. All right. We will see you guys. Thanks for watching.